Hello everybody and welcome back to the Family Shambles YouTube page. Now today we are going to be doing a get ready with me. We're going to get into this face. It's a go-to Gayle face. It's not going to be a tutorial, so please don't try to follow along, but you are going to get to know me a little bit better. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into it.
Come closer and listen.
So I have done all of my prep work. I've got my eyebrows down, moisturised, primed, all of that good stuff. So let's get on with covering up all of this sin. So my name is Gayle Force. I'm 31, would you believe it? And I've been performing in drag since the start of 2016. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So what's that? 5 years I've been doing drag now. So it has been a little bit of time, but I've also been playing with makeup for longer than that as well. I'd say it was a good year to 18 months that I was just sat at home playing in the mirror with makeup before I did my first performance, so that makes me feel even older. If you were to ask me what kind of queen I am, I think that's a bit of a difficult one to answer really, because I'd like to think that I can do a lot of different things, versatile in every way. But if I had to pigeonhole it, I'd say that I'm definitely a comedy queen, the storytelling comedy queen, and performance is really where I shine. I don't have the best fashions, I don't have the best makeup, but I can perform the house down. That is literally what I do for my day job. I am a performer, full stop. When it comes to inspirations, I think that one is quite a tricky one for me to answer, because it's less of a person, more I'm like a magpie. If it's shiny, I love it. I'm totally there. But I suppose when I really stopped to think about it, I grew up playing a lot of video games and got obsessed with all of the strong, powerful women in there, and that's kind of seeped out into what I look for in especially a song to lip sync to. I want a powerful voice that I can really get into and use as a launching pad to tell a story. That's really what I'm looking for in that respect. They're not symmetrical, but they never are. Oh well, that is life. We just carry on. So before all of this pandemic hit and we all had our lives turned upside down, I used to work in Cyprus in the summers with a group called The Darlings. That was my first proper paid gig, and it just became my life really. I was meant to go out again last year, but obviously couldn't. Hopefully this year is a go, but honestly at this point, who knows? I had a lot of fun whilst I was out there and learned a lot about my craft. We were doing 2 shows a night, 6 nights a week, so you get pretty good and quick at putting on your makeup. And we were performing to the tourists on the island around Taurus and Ayia Napa. You've probably heard of Ayia Napa, let's be real. And yeah, 2 lots of 6 months doing that. It was amazing exposure. I met some fantastic people out there, made some sisters for life, and really hope we get to do it again. It was a comedy drag show, and I did 2 solo numbers. The infamous Bride, It Should Have Been Me, everybody knows that by now, and Ubang by Doris Day, and I got to be inappropriate with lots of handsome daddies. Life can change. Right then, it's time to move on to the eyes. So what series of unfortunate events led to me being a drag queen? Well, as I said earlier, I am a performer. I'm very lucky to say that I worked solidly as an actor between 2013 and 2019, doing bits and bobs. I went to university to study writing, directing and performance, so it's something that I am already familiar with. I can act, I dance, I can sing badly, so they're the things needed for a good drag queen, right? So it just seemed like a natural progression. I'll be really honest though, like as a performer, yeah, it's fantastic, but with Gayle, it's my baby, you know? I've done everything for it. I've done the choreography, I've done the makeup, I've designed the costume, and ultimately, I'm the leading lady. I think my first exposure to drag other than like Lily Savage would have been I went to see Jeffree Star like 15 years ago, so it was a different time for him when he was doing all the music and stuff. But really the main educator, as with the vast majority of us, was Drag Race. I distinctly remember where I was when Drag Race came into my life. It was my second year of uni, end of second term. There was this big party. I went, wasn't exactly sober when I came home, but when I did, the finale of season 1 was playing on E4 and I was transfixed. So I just started watching seasons religiously, getting more and more into the whole idea, and I'll be honest, I wasn't a stranger to wearing women's clothes, so one day the day just came. Also, if you were to ask anybody that knew me when I was younger, they'd also say that this was inevitable. I used to do the local panto quite a lot, and I was playing the Dane from a very early age, largely based on insistence, and I was really a form of a drag queen before I even knew what a drag queen was. There's the eyes done for now. I'll go back in and touch them up later, but now it's time to move on to contour. So my first ever time in drag would have been 2014 maybe, potentially 2015. It was in my hometown of Mablethorpe, a sleepy, tiny little seaside town. Very stuck in the past, shall we say. I was back home teaching drama to kids for a week with one of my best friends from school, a fabulous burlesque performer now called Cadbury Parfait, you should check her out. And somewhere was just doing a drag night, and we was like, what? That doesn't happen where we're from, so I decided, why not? Let's go for it. I'm gonna get into drag. I'll put the picture somewhere. Wasn't the finest. I haven't grown that much since then, really. But yeah, that was the very first time. But the first time performing in drag was in 2016. York Pride organised their own version of Drag Race, York Pride's Drag Race, and I entered on a whim. I performed I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness, and lo and behold, I snatched the crown. I'll put a picture of that somewhere as well, but not bad, eh? First outing, and the crown is yours.
Can't explain all the ways that you're making me feel.
Well, I didn't think of this. This was bestowed upon me at quite an early age, actually. So the pantos that I was talking about earlier, it was one of the very first days of that year, and I 11, 12, 13, something like that. I ran up to this fabulous woman called Sally, who was the mum of one of my friends in the panto, and I was just like, look at what I can do! Dropped into the splits. And this is how I remember it anyway, and as I got up, she turned around to me and was like, you're gonna need this someday. Your name's gonna be Gayle Fox. So, lo and behold, here we are. Sally, if I remember that wrong, let me know. So So, the Family Shambles, how do I know them? Well, I used to perform in a show called Lip Sync Lollapalooza, hosted by the House of Dench, with Creedy Dench in York. I performed with that quite regularly, and I got to know them through first seeing them a lot in the audience, then just having little chats with them. But I think what really cemented it was, I think it was a New Year show or something. I was very, very drunk and I'd lost my phone. So I was upstairs frantically trying to find it, and they both came to my rescue. We were calling up and we got through to this guy, and we were all giving him hell for stealing my phone. No, we were just ringing my number from like 4 years previously. Bailey's perspective on drag is incredibly unique, and I respect that an incredible amount. Bodhi is a fantastic makeup artist, and Ginger I didn't really know until they invited me along to perform at one of their shows, and what an absolute darling. It's an absolute sweetheart, and without a doubt is the driving force behind making this happen. So we did the show, and the rest is history. Right then, it's time for the finishing touches. My favourite song to perform is the first ever song that I performed, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, but the post-punk jukebox version. It's got a nice slow build, it's story, it's teasing, and then it loses its head right at the end. Perfect. The first Rugo I ever saw was Latrice in Glasgow, but I got too drunk and got kicked out before she went on. There's been a few cool things that I've been able to do with Gayle, but I think one of the highlights has to be opening Cyprus Pride. That was pretty special. It's bloody hot though. That one's easy. Lashes. The last thing to go on, and they pull everything together. Right, so that's all of this done, so I'm gonna go get changed and I'll see you in a sec.
Come closer and listen.
So here it is, the finished look. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to and from a gig looking exactly like this. This is quintessential go-to Gayle. Well, I hope you had a good time getting to know me a little bit better. Thank you very much if you are still with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.